89. Course of Development of Nature. Zorel. I can tell you even more, Zinka. Everything what you have ever thought, spoken or did on this earth since your youth, and also what you have thought, spoken or did in your pre-earthly soul existence, is written in the book of life. Of this you carry a copy in the head of your soul, but the very big copy lies always wide open in front of God. Once you have been perfected, just as I am now standing perfected in front of God, you again will find in great detail all your thoughts, words and deeds. In that what was good, you will of course find great joy. But that what was not according to the good order, you will not be very happy about. But as a perfected person, you will also feel no grief about it. Because from that, you will recognize the great mercy and wise guidance of God. And this will strengthen your pure love to God, and in all patience towards those poor and imperfect brothers, who will be entrusted to your guidance by God the Lord, irrespective if in this or any other world. From these, your recorded thoughts, someday new creations will arise. Normally from these recorded thoughts, words and deeds, larger or smaller world bodies are created in the near future. They will put into the fire of suns to reach a certain ripeness. When reached such, they are guided out into space of creation with the greatest force, and in time, gradually handed over to their own development. With time in such a newborn world, the many thousand times thousand single thoughts and ideas are developing more and more by the life germ like fire and light. Like seed pellets which have been placed into the earth, to serve the new world as a basis for the later origin of all kind of beings, like minerals, plants, and animals, from whose souls in time human souls are formed. Such new worlds you can see from time to the biggest part, as misty nebulous stars, also as tail stars flying through space. Their primordial origin is the recorded thoughts, ideas, words, and actions in the book of God. From this you can see that even the slightest thought which ever was thought by a person, either on this or on another earth, is impossible to ever get lost. And the spirits from whose thoughts, words and ideas and actions such a new world has been formed by the will of God, are soon recognizing in their perfected state that such a world is a result of their thoughts, ideas, words and actions, and are pleased to take over with a great feeling of bliss the guidance, management, development and full revitalization and purposefully inner organization of the world body itself, and finally, of all things and beings which must exist on such a world body. You now look at this earth and see nothing than dead-seeming matter. I also see the dead-seeming forms of matter. But I see much more in it, what you can't see with your eyes. I see in it the banned spiritual things and beings, and feel their aspirations, and see how they continuously grow in the inner development and better and more focused shaping and evolvement of their purposefully forms. And again, I see countless spirits and little spirits who are incessantly active like the sand in a Roman hourglass. There is no talk of any rest, and by their incessant activity, the entire purposeful formation of all and every life in nature is produced. I say to you, in each dewdrop, which trembles so brightly on the tip of a blade of grass, I see, like in the sea, already myriads of beings busying in all direction. The water in the drop is only a first and general enveloping skin around a thought of God. From this, the caught little spirits in it are taking their individual envelope, and thereupon immediately exist already as a more specific form, which is already quite different from the outer general form. However, thereby the drop as a water pearl disappears, and the newly formed forms, as already life-carrying little cocoons, are creeping on the plants and other things where the drop of water was formed. However, these cocoons, seizing each other, soon transform into other forms, and 100,000s become one. A new skin is formed around the new form. In it, the many little forms are converted by the influence of the light and the warmth into a purposeful organism of the new and bigger form. And the new being starts a new activity in preparation for a repeated transformation into a more and more developed form, in which it again starts to become active for the transformation into an even higher and more complete form. And in this way, the visible activity of a being entered in a certain form is nothing else than the right preparation for a higher and more perfect form, for the increasingly greater firmness of the soul life, and finally, for the pure spiritual life in the human form. What I tell you here is no fantasy, but the purest and eternal truth. I could still tell you a lot of things about the order of God, as I see it now with the clearest realization. But I also realize now that the time of this my perfection comes to an end. Therefore, I must hereby add a request that you, if I become a very silly and amongst others an annoying person again, will have patience with me and will guide me on the right path of the order of God, which is now known to you. You will be most surprised, if I wake up in the world, that I will be silly and dark again, and will not know one single syllable from everything what happened to me. Nevertheless, everything will still be to my advantage. For a while, My spirit, being forced to become ripe, will become tired of this unusual and untrained state, and will remain sleep-mute. But he will, by the now still necessary rest, be strengthened, and will wake up and feel the urgency of the real life perfection, which blessed sweetness he was able to taste, and thus will contribute substantially to the quicker full education of the soul, so that she soon become ripe in him in all truth and right ability, to fully integrate with the Spirit penetrating her. I will be once more sleeping for another half an hour, after which you have to wake me by the opposite placing of your hands. But if I wake up again, then do not let me go until I haven't fully recognized the person of all persons at this table, since he is one with him whom I still can see in the Son of the eternal large spirit world. Thank you for laying your hands on me.